Hi, hello everyone. Hope you guys are having a wonderful evening, and I warmly welcome each and every one of you to today's session. Mastering Your Mind, the Psychology of Exam Success, proudly brought to you by StartX. First and foremost, I want to thank all of you for joining with us this evening. Most of you present here are the ones who are to sit for the upcoming 2026 A-level examinations, which are in just another 23 days. With your examination just few days away, I understand and know how valuable each and every second of your time is, and we truly appreciate you for being with us here today. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Yahya Fauzan, and I'll be your host for today's session. So people, over the past few months, you would have attended classes, revised your lessons, revised your theory back and forth again and again several times. You would have attempted hundreds of past papers, sat for various mock exams, and would have literally done everything possible to prepare yourself academically. But guys, let me ask you one simple question. Are you mentally prepared for your exams? Have you prepared your mind? Have you prepared that mindset that is required to be maintained throughout the whole examination season? Because, guys, once you enter that examination hall and sit on that very chair, and that invigilator hands over that exam paper, which you are preparing for months and months with a lot of effort and sacrifices, at that moment, as time passes, you will tend to realize that success isn't just about on how much you had studied for the past 2.5 years. Because as time passes, we'll also understand it is important to stay calm under pressure, knowing how to manage those stress levels, knowing how to control your overthinking, and most importantly, knowing how to believe in yourself. Many students prepare for the exams, but they forget to prepare themselves for the exams. They forget to prepare their mind for their exams. So that is exactly why StartX has organized today's session for. So in today's session, you learn a lot of practical psychological strategies to help you manage exam pressure, build that confidence, avoid burnout throughout the whole exam season, and step into your examination hall with that right mindset throughout the whole examination month. So that is all about today's session. So before we start, just two quick announcements. Yes, this session is being recorded, and the recording will be uploaded into YouTube, and the link will be shared throughout all the relevant class groups so that you could go through the session again and rewatch each and every valuable aspect that was discussed in today's insightful session. And also, if you have any question or any doubt that you want to ask or clear, feel free to drop them in the chat box, and we'll answer as many as possible towards the end. Hope all of you are ready. And now, it is my pleasure to introduce our guest speaker for today's session, Miss Hafsa Riza, who holds a Bachelor's of Science with honors in psychology from the United Kingdom. This evening, Ms. Hafsa will be sharing practical, technical, and valuable insights to help you become eventually prepared for one of the most biggest examinations in your life. So without further ado, let's give Ms. Hafsa Riza a very warm virtual welcome. Hope you guys have a wonderful and insightful session. And Ms. Hafsa, the session is all yours now.
Hello, hi. Hello. Yes, hi. Thank you so much for that beautiful welcome. Yahya, that was very beautiful and very nice also because this is online and it's kind of like a one-way screen and I can't see all of you guys, even though I can see the number here, which is amazing actually, more than what I expected. And so this session is basically about how to prepare, even though your brain is ready for the exam, sometimes your mind can shut down. So this is basically to help you get your mind prepared for this exam. So I'm just going to share something I prepared to get you to have like an idea in your head of what I'm trying to say to you, because I don't want to just, go on yapping. So I'm just going to share my screen. I hope all of you can see my screen. If you do, if you can just put a thumbs up, then I know I'm not talking to myself. Okay, amazing. Okay, so today what we'll be doing is I'm not going to go on and tell you that this exam is not important. Neither am I going to tell you that this is just another exam, because that will be very bad advice and it will be unrealistic for me to say that, because this is not like any other exam. This is also going to be the exam that will determine uh, what you choose to do in your higher studies, or basically after school and the next chapter of your life. So in this exam, there's a lot of pressure, more than what we would like to, agree on. There's a lot of pressure, especially because this is the local national GCE A-level examination. And I'm sure some of you have hopes of joining like a local state university, which means the stakes are very high. Okay, so this is a session just to help prepare you and help give you basically some tools to kind of overcome whatever that you're dealing with inside before the exam. Okay. Okay, so if you do have any questions, anything you want to say, definitely type it in. We will definitely address it later. Okay, so before I start, I want to ask you guys a question, and based on these questions, if you resonate with these questions, please do put a thumbs up. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask you, at any point in your at any point during these past 2 years that you've been doing so many classes, preparing for so many subjects, okay, have you ever wondered at any point, have you ever thought, what am I going to tell my parents if I don't get the results they want me to get? Ever thought, if I fail this exam, my future is over? Everyone else seems to be more prepared than I am. Am I behind? Do I need to start? And wait, has everyone already started? Are they lying to me? Have you thought about these things in your head? My parents keep telling everyone I'll get into some university. What if I don't? Have you ever thought of these things? Has this ever crossed your mind? Yeah, I see a lot of thumbs up floating around. Yeah, forgotten an answer you already knew so well. You know the theory, you know the content, you know exactly how to answer these questions, especially in the exact way Sir Shukri has taught you, in the exact order, the exact terms, the exact key terminologies. You know what you should say, what he has been repeatedly saying in every class you go to. But then you're sitting in front of this paper, you're sitting on this chair, and you're like, what the hell did Sir say? Why isn't it coming to my head? What is wrong with me? Why is my mind just like a blank black screen right now? Yeah, have you ever felt this way? Well, actually, you're not alone, and it's very normal to feel this way, and you're actually going to find out why you feel this way. Okay, so first of all, I want you to understand that pressure is not just academic. Academic pressure is not the only reason why you feel this pressure. This pressure is mostly a bunch of surrounding factors and a collection of a million other factors, which is the reason why you feel this pressure. Okay, it's emotional is up there, it's number one. That's the very first reason why you feel it. Okay, you most of all, when it comes to an exam like this of this scale, why you feel emotional pressure is the main thing is, am I disappointing my parents? Oh my God, am I going to get the results, the marks that they think I'm going to get? Am I as smart as they think I am? Basically. Obviously, the comparison is something that we can never really get rid of. The neighbor is compared to us, our cousins are compared to us, the neighbor's dog is compared to us. Everybody, literally, who live around you, who are around you, is compared to you. No matter how much our parents won't like to agree, that comparison is what kills everything. That is another emotional pressure that we face, that we will continuously face, I feel. Financial. I'm sure all of us will go through this at some point. Some of us may have not gone through it yet. Some of us might have already gone through it. Financial pressure is also another reason why children are pushed to get into state universities for free education. And that pressure also takes a really big toll on students. And that makes them like, oh my God, I have to pass this exam. I have no other choice. I have to pass this exam. So that can do a lot to a child, especially who is like 18, 19 years old. You don't know your emotions. You don't know what they're even called. You don't know what to even call it. You don't know how you're even feeling. And then you have this huge responsibility, huge expectation you have to fill. Okay. It's something that you will definitely go through. Okay. And what you're going through is not abnormal. You are completely normal. And I'm not going to tell you that what is wrong with you? This is just another exam in your life. This is just another milestone. Just like pass it. And then you pass it, and then 5 years down the line, you're like, why did I react that way for my A levels? I'm not going to say that. Realistically speaking, I'm not going to disregard how you feel because I know the stakes are high. I know what you're feeling right now. I know how hard it is for you. You have just few days. Yahya said 23 days. That's crazy. Okay. So you have 23 days for the exam. So that's a very short time for you to prepare your mind to it, study everything. I'm sure you all must be cramping all the revision in all the subjects right now. I hope you are. I know Sir Shukri is making sure of that. Okay. So these are some different reasons why you should know that pressure is not just academic. Academic pressure is a result of a collection of so many other factors. And this is why you feel this way. So I'm gonna explain to you something really interesting. I'm gonna explain to you how I'm not gonna say it's all in your head because we've probably heard that a lot. I'm not going to say that. It's not all in your head, but your mind is what controls your behavior. It's all in your mind. It's all in what you give, what you say to yourself, how you say it, and how you perceive every experience. If you're going to go in head first, thinking, oh my God, nothing's ever going to work, I'm going to fail. You haven't even seen the paper yet. You don't even know what the first question is going to be, but already you're like, no, no, I've screwed up. I've messed up. If you go in with that mindset, you are going to manifest that mindset, and that is what's going to end up happening. I'm going to tell you that for sure. That is what is going to end up happening. So I'm going to explain to you exactly how that happens, and there's a biological reason why you do that. Okay, so that is going to be the next slide. What's happening inside your brain? I hope all of you can see my slides. Can you see what's on your screen? I've made it as bright as possible. Yeah, you all can see. Okay. Do you know that the reason why you feel exam anxiety is because of your brain? Your brain is the one that's really responsible for it. And your brain is the reason why you even end up feeling anxious, why you end up feeling fear, why you end up feeling like you can't do it. You have 23 days left. Okay, I might not be able to do it within these 23 days. Your brain is why. Okay. So, our brain, basically our entire body, but I'm going to focus on the brain. Our brain is designed to protect us. Okay, it's so beautiful when you see how our body is designed. Even when someone who wants to drown and end their life, their brain is built in a way to grasp for air and come up out of the water for air as a reflex. That's how our brain is. Our brain is basically designed to take care of us. Okay. Every organ in our body is designed to take care of us. No matter how much you feed it and what you say to it, it is designed to take care of you. So the reason why you feel stress is also basically your brain kind of taking care of you, but in a weird way. Okay. So when you think of exam, when you think of 23 days left, exam coming up, the first thing that comes to your head is threat. Threat is incoming. There is a threat, and I have to overcome this threat. This threat has the power to change my life. This threat has the power to decide what I do after my A levels. This threat, I mean, I'm sure I'm not going to speak for the guys here, but speaking for the girls here, this threat has the power, even though it's sad, but this is reality, has the power to decide, am I going to do my higher studies or get married to some weirdo? This threat has that power to decide that. Okay. So this threat, what it does is it immediately releases stress hormones. Okay, I'm not going to go into detail of what this hormone is called. I wish I can, but I can't. It's just an hour, so I'm really sad about that. So this threat releases a stress hormone to your body, and once it's released, immediately your body has to kind of put it out in some way. It has to. It has to. If it doesn't, you're going to shut down. So how it puts it out is your heart beats faster. Sometimes you might feel your heart beating in your throat. That's when your heart starts beating really fast. Your breathing gets really heavy. Your basically, as a result of all of this happening, your memory just like goes for a six. Everything that was in your memory that you studied the night before, that you cramped up, stayed up without sleeping and studied the night before, was it just gets erased because of this whole stress hormone. Okay. And then suddenly what happens? I've forgotten everything. So your brain hasn't just deleted, it doesn't delete what you studied. It just temporarily makes it hard for you to remember it. Can you believe that this is all the brain's fault? This is the brain why that's why you can't remember when you sit literally in front of your paper and you're like, I know this answer. What is this answer? And then you just can't remember it. So it's not like you didn't study. You studied. You did your work. You put your effort. You gave your 100%. You did your revision. You did the 1,000 gajillion papers Sir Shukri told you to do, but you can't remember what he said. So it's not that you don't know that knowledge or that theory or that model or whatever the answer you're supposed to remember. It's not like you don't know it. It's you just can't remember it. Your memory is playing tricks with you there. So this is why you just go blank there. Okay. So there's a reason. So I'm going to tell you. So always remember when we hear anxiety, we hear, oh my God, why are you feeling so anxious? Because you're anxious. The reason why you're not being able to perform is because you're anxious. So anxiety is always perceived as a negative reaction, a negative experience. But then there is also a way you can kind of like use it for your advantage. Did you know that anxiety can be used for your advantage? So there is, I'm going to explain it to you before I show it to you. So there is a law, okay? It's a very common law. It's very well known. It's called the Yerkes-Dodson law. I'm not going to give you theory on top of all the theory that's already in your head. There's a law called the Yerkes-Dodson law. And in this law, okay, basically what it says is a moderate amount of stress is needed for you to perform at your optimal maximum capacity. It's crazy, right? Did you know that? Did you all know that? Did you all know that? Hmm? I see a lot of shocked emojis. Yeah? Okay, Ahmed, you knew that. Okay. Okay. General knowledge. Okay, wow. Okay. Okay. Moderate amount of stress meaning not like, oh my God, I'm so stressed out. Okay, now I'm going to get an A star, or I'm going to get 100 out of 100, or I'm going to get all A's. I'm going to get island rank #1. That's not what I mean. Okay. I'm pretty sure you all know that's not what I mean. Actually, no one has really reached this moderate level of stress. I'm going to be very honest with all of you. No one has reached this moderate level because nobody knows how to reach it. Neither do anyone know how their low level of stress, high level of stress, and moderate level of stress. No one knows the difference between the three. Everyone just knows stress. Okay, that's all everyone knows. Okay, so in this particular Dodson law, okay, if you show it in a kind of a graph, if you take like a bell curve, in this curve, the very middle of this curve, which is the green, optimal performance, if you can see right in the center, optimal performance, Stress is not determined by blood pressure, guys. Stress is the result of a lot of things, a collection of a lot of things. You can even get stressed out by what someone says. Okay. This is why I'm here to help you and I'm here to give you more knowledge. Okay. So stress is not just like an overall thing like, okay, I have blood pressure, therefore I am stressed. I am diabetic, so therefore I am stressed. Stress is not related to biological sicknesses or illnesses. Stress is related to a lot of collection of events, series of different experiences, bad choices, basically all of that. Okay. Stress, okay, you have to know that the goal is not to completely remove anxiety from your life and just be at a point where you don't get stressed at all. Because if you don't get stressed at all, then what is your motivation to even learn something new? What is your motivation to challenge yourself? What is it? What is your motivation to even sit for this particular exam? Why are you even sitting for this exam in the first place? Because you don't want to stay in the same place, because you want to get better, because you want to move on to the next step. You also want to prove to yourself that you can do it, right? So, exactly in the middle, if you are in this point, you can perform at your highest capacity, is what this law says. Okay, you have to have a little bit of stress to also be able to challenge yourself, to also be able to be like, oh my God, I did that. I can do that. Wow, I can do. You probably would have realized that in Sir Shukri's classes when he when he makes you lose your mind and then you start getting a really good result and then you're like, I got that result. Whoa, did I just outdo myself? At moments like that, you were at high stress, but you did perform. So it's all in the way you use it for your advantage. Because always remember, okay, the way you tell yourself how you are going to behave or how you're going to overcome a certain thing that you're facing is the way you're going to overcome it. That's it. There's nothing more or nothing less that I can tell you. That's it. That's basically it. Like how you think of a yellow car and all you see is yellow cars in the road. Have you felt that? Like you think of a certain car, and for the next day or 2 days, all you see is that car in the road. Have you noticed yourself doing that? Have you? Because it's actually the name of it is called the yellow car theory. Yes, that's the name of what it's called. You think it, you see it. It's not like you think it and you see it. No, you think it, you remind your memory to be like, yellow cars, and then you see a yellow car. It's not like you're just creating this yellow car to come in front of you. You think it and then you see it, which means you be it. I'm telling you. Okay, why not red car? Okay, red car. You see a red car and all you see is red cars. I'm not just talking about the color of the car, guys. I'm also talking about even a specific car that you had in mind. You end up seeing it. So it's all in the way you control your anxiety to actually work for your advantage. Okay? There's 4 ways that you can actually regain control. If you feel like you're losing control, or if you feel like you're losing losing in the sense like forgetting whatever you studied, no matter how much of revision you do, you still can't keep that in your mind. There's 4 things that you can do to help stop spiraling. Okay, because we all spiral. Spiraling is something that we have all done, no matter at what age we are hit, we will go through this. Okay. So first thing, catch your thoughts. Don't slip. Catch your thoughts. How are you going to catch your thoughts? That's like the stupidest thing. What are you saying? You're probably questioning me. What are you saying right now? Can you catch your thoughts? You can't catch your thoughts like that. I'm anxious because this matters. Now see how you rephrase the entire situation and you told yourself that you're feeling this way only because this exam is important to you. That is why you're feeling this way, which means you performing well in this exam is also important to you. That is why you're perceiving this whole experience as a stressful situation. Why? Because you need this experience. You need to overcome it to move on to the next step or to see how you actually perform in this. So you basically telling yourself, I'm anxious because I have to do it because I'm good at doing this, because I can do it. I prepared myself 2 years. I went for all those classes. I did all those papers. I did all those questions, those exams, because I was preparing myself for this moment. I'm ready. I can do this. I know I can do this. And then there's another trick. Another trick that you can do, which actually is proven to work 100%, it's called the 5 4 3 2 1 theory. 5 4 3 2 1. Okay, that's basically the name of this trick. 5 4 3 2 1. If you feel like you're losing your mind, you're spiraling, you start hyperventilating, your heart starts beating really fast, you start feeling like you can't do this, you start feeling like you're about to have like a breakdown, or your hands start shaking, you're sitting on this table in front of, about to get that booklet that is supposed to be handed over to you and laid on the table in front of you. You start feeling, your stomach starts feeling really tight, and then you start physiologically feeling like, okay, you can't do this. Then you immediately think of the 5 4 3 2 1. 5 things you can see. Look around, name 5 things you can see. Random things: chair, shirt, trouser, pencil, pen, book. 4 things you can smell. Anything you can smell. The most random things. Most random things, like your friend who didn't have a bath, you can smell him. You can smell another person's perfume. You can smell a random person's food. Random things. Just pick 4 things. 3 things you can hear. Anything. Obviously, wherever you will be, you will definitely be able to hear 3 things, no matter how quiet it is. 2 things you can touch. And I added one also, one thing you can taste. Even though you obviously don't have any access to food during your exam, at least try to think of something that you tasted in the morning or something like that. Remember the sense of taste that you felt in the morning. Trust me, this trick works. It's called water. Yes. It's called the 5 4 3 2 1 method. Okay. It helps because you're literally diverting your attention to your 5 senses. And by doing that, you're giving your mind a break from the actual anxiety that you're feeling. Okay. This exam anxiety, this fear for exams is something that you will definitely feel. It is something that you're going to definitely experience because this is a big deal. This exam is a big deal. It's no joke. Okay. You didn't prepare 2 years to just, obviously mess it up. Okay. And obviously you don't want to let anyone down. There's a lot of stake in this exam, not just for you, but everyone around you, everyone who is having these expectations on you. Now, see, that I can't really tell you to ignore. I can't really tell you to just forget about those because those are going to be there regardless. Okay. Uh, so Shukri is going to be quite disappointed because you thought my steak meant beef steak, but never mind. Okay. So what I meant was this is going to have a big impact in the rest of the choices that you make after this exam. So all I can do in this 1 hour is help you basically redirect that anxiety, redirect that negative emotion, that negative feeling that you feel just before the exam. Now, see, all of you probably don't even feel it yet until the very day you have to get ready and go to wherever you are going to go and sit and do this exam. You're probably not feeling the jitters yet because you have 23 days left. So I'm pretty sure until that day, it's not going to hit you. So what I'm saying is all I can do is help you basically navigate these emotions. Okay. So focus on what you can control. Obviously, that's the only thing that you have with you, the only thing that will help you, which is get enough sleep, which is very important. The day before the exam, any exam without sleep, you're not going to remember anything. Anything. Okay. It's crazy, but sleep and memory, recall are directly correlated to each other. You lose sleep, you forget. So then if you forget as a result of lack of sleep, then there's not much you can really gain from this 1 hour because I can't help you if you're not getting enough sleep. Practice. By practice, I don't mean just go copyright everything that you already wrote in your book. By practice, I mean do things on your own, do questions on your own without teachers telling you to do it. Practice questions that you haven't really even done yet in class, that sir has never really told you to do yet. Do things on your own, get it corrected on your own. Additionally, there's so much that you can learn by simply doing something on your own, making the mistake and getting it corrected. Time management, I'm pretty sure sir would have already drilled you on that, because that is something that he would have definitely done. You have to manage your time when it comes to the exam. Imagine not having anxiety, knowing 100% of your content, subject content, theory, knowing everything, and not having time to write it. For me, that is just tragedy. That is just a huge tragedy. You know what to write, you can see the question, you know exactly what that question, that answer is for that question. You don't have anxiety, by the way. In this situation, you're completely confident, you know exactly what to say, you know exactly what you should take your pen and do there, but then they take your paper away. Imagine that moment. That would just be a tragedy, and that would be the saddest thing for you, to know that you lost time, you lost the chance to write what you knew, simply because you didn't manage your time. Yeah, depression. 100%. That's depression. I agree. 100%. That'll be the saddest thing. So I'm pretty sure sir would have drilled you to not be in that situation and to not lose that opportunity simply because you can't manage your time. Imagine you come home and you're like, the paper was so easy, I didn't have time. As a teacher, as a psychology teacher, when students tell me, I genuinely want to cry. I want to cry. I'm serious. Because I know how much potential those students have, and I know the confidence they have for the exam, and I know how well they can write. Imagine not having time. Visualize success. Now, see, it's so easy to just say visualize success, right? Just think about yourself winning. Think about yourself getting 100 out of 100. Think about yourself getting A's. Is it easy though? Is it easy? Is it? Yeah, no? Manifestation. Is it easy though? Is manifestation easy? And how many of you actually believe in it and don't believe in it? Walk in the path, daydreaming, I believe. Okay. Is manifestation real? No, it's not. Half of you are saying yes, half of you are saying no. Is it really easy to just visualize success and just be successful? Hmm? Is that how it works? No, definitely not. Why do you all say no? Why do you all say no, though? Why can't you just visualize success and be successful? Why can't you do that? I mean, that's so easy. Why can't you do that? Did you know, okay, from a psychological point of view, okay, I'm going to give you my POV now. From a psychological point of view, this is actually called visual motor behavioral rehearsal. There's a lot of words, but you all are business savvy students, which means you all know a lot of big, big words. Okay, visual motor behavior rehearsal. Okay, it's where you think it and your brain basically tells you it's possible. And then you're actually, you don't do this completely consciously. Yeah, you don't do this completely consciously, but you do this subconsciously, where you physically end up doing it because your brain thought that it's possible. Did you know that this existed? Did you know that there's a thing like this? So when you have you have you all heard of the term vivid dreams? Have you all heard of that? What does the word vivid mean? not lucid dreams, but what does the word vivid mean? Remember carefully, vivid is something something that you remember or something that's in your mind as a memory that is in so much detail and is so specific. You can remember it to the very smallest, tiniest detail. That is what you mean by the word vivid. Okay. When you vividly imagine when you vividly imagine you performing a specific task and actually performing it well, what your brain does is your brain activates a specific neural pathway and shows you like a visual picture of you actually doing it. Did you know that this exists? Okay, I didn't say visualization replaces studying. So now don't just be like, okay, I don't need to study now. Miss Hafsa said I don't need to study. I just need to vividly imagine myself studying and then I'm going to get good marks. Don't do that. Okay, because that's not the same thing. Okay, vividly imagining yourself doing a task and actually not doing the task are two completely different things. Okay, I'm telling you how to create this, how to visualize success. Basically, I'm trying to help you understand. Okay, if you have prepared, let's say you have completely prepared for this exam, you 100% know the content, you know the theory, you know what to write for the short answer questions, you know what to write for the long answer questions, you know exactly how to tackle every question the way Sir Shukri has taught you to do. Okay, you know what to do. Basically, you're very, very well prepared of the tips and the tricks of how you overcome and get marks, exactly how the examiner wants you to answer, you know what to answer. So you've done your part. Okay. After you do this, of course, after you do your part, which is you physically put effort and do your part, what you have to do is you visualize yourself actually doing that exact exam for the A levels, sitting for the paper, doing it, knowing all the answers in the exam, perfect time management. Questions that you have done in class with Sir Shukri is the first question in this paper, basically. Crazy. Okay, he predicted questions and it's in the paper and you're doing it and you know what to do. After you've sat there, I want you to visualize yourself sitting there and actually writing every question, having perfect time, and for sure getting the best result. Because now, see, when anyone talks about A levels in your head, the very first thing that comes to your head is what if I forget everything? What if I disappoint my parents? What if everyone else does better than me? What if that dumb guy who comes for Sir Shukri's class doesn't keep a single book completed, doesn't take a single note, doesn't do a single past paper, gets an A? What if he gets an A? I swear he might get an A. What if that happens? Now, see, these are the things that runs in your head. There are people like that. I swear to you. I had friends like that. And I was like, how do they do it? Some black magic for sure. How do they do it? No note taken, no past paper done. Okay. And then you start wondering, am I behind? Have I not started yet? Have I not done what I have to do? Is everyone else ahead of me? Has everyone else already started revising? I'm not done with my theory yet. I'm yet to start revising, as everyone else seems to be already done with their theory. These are the first thoughts that come to our head when we even think of an exam, isn't it? Negative thoughts. The most negative thoughts are the first things that come to our head. What if, just what if, you actually think that you actually pass? Not pass, not just pass, pass really well. Pass with the best result. Do the best in the exam. Not just write the most basic answer, write the exact answer they're expecting from you. What if you actually end up remembering in the paper? What if you actually end up doing exactly what they expect you to do? What if you get to write everything you studied? And what if everything you studied before the exam are the parts that actually come for this exam? Did you notice how I actually just literally flip the script, and all the what ifs when it came to the negatives, I turned it into a different point of view. What if you actually write confidently? What if you actually remember what you learned? You remember exactly Sir's voice in your head telling you those exact words, the answer, his voice telling you, write this. Imagine. Now, see, when you are seeing things working out, it might even end up working out. So that's what I meant by visualize success. I didn't mean by you visualizing just you being successful or whatever the way you define success. When it comes to you personally, everybody has their own definition of success. I'm talking about this very next exam that you have coming up. This exam. Not 10 years down the line and how successful you will be. Hopefully, I want all of you to be successful. 10 years, 5 years, 2 years down the line. But I'm talking about this exam 23 days away. Visualize you sitting for this exam and you actually knowing what you're going to write. You confidently, you're able to take that pen and start writing. Now, see, we think of the most craziest things during an exam. Because when we see a specific question, our mind actually plays, it operates in like beautiful ways. Okay. When we see a specific question, and we immediately remember the chapter that question is from. And when we immediately remember the chapter, we immediately remember what Sir said when he started that chapter. All the jokes he made, all the stories he said, all those motivational speeches he gave. But do you remember what he said about the content, the theory? No. You remember everything else except the theory. You remember the color that you highlighted that note with also. Exactly. Yes, exactly. You remember the color when you underline that word also. You remember the stars you put. You remember the exact jokes are said. You remember who laughed, who didn't laugh. You remember what your friends said after that joke. You remember the little inside joke your friends started saying. You remember the people who added to that joke. You remember what Sir Wo also when he said that joke. Everything. Probably everything. The highlighter was the perfect cherry on top. But yeah, everything you remember, but do you remember exactly what the theory was? What that example sir was actually talking about for? Like what was the theory behind that example? The whole point of that joke. Do you remember that? No. But you remember everything surrounding that specific question. You remember exactly. You remember where you sat in class also. Definitely. You remember where you sat in class. For sure, you remember where you sat in class. But do you remember what exactly the theory was? Do you remember what the answer is for that question? No. No, you can even tell me. I had a student who used to tell me the page number of the textbook, which was crazy. But he can't remember what's in the page in that textbook. That's how much he remembered, but he couldn't remember what was exactly in that page. So, what I want you to do is, I want you to close your eyes. I want you to, I'm pretty sure none of you are going to close your eyes right now because I can't see you. But I want you to sit, imagine yourself sitting at the table of your A-level exam, no matter what subject you're sitting for. I want you to imagine you taking your pen in your hand, confidently about to open that booklet that you get. Take the paper to your hand, start writing the first question, and continue reading. Yes, now I want you to imagine that now. Continue reading all the questions that are in front of you, remembering exactly the answers that are to be written to those questions. I want you to visualize yourself doing that. Try doing that. I'm not going to tell you to stop feeling anxious. I'm not going to tell you to stop being, what are you doing? Stop being stressed. Stop stressing out so much. Like you all need to chill out, relax. I'm not going to tell you to do that because I will be basically telling you to do something completely impossible. It is impossible to do that. And I'm not going to tell you to do that. You're feeling anxious already. Don't pass out right now. Please don't. We need you. Sir needs you to come to his classes. Don't do it. Okay. You have 23 days left. Calm down. Okay. I want you to visualize yourself in that very chair, and I want you to know that it will work out if you do the absolute maximum that you have to do. Go prepared, confidently sit there. Manifest yourself into thinking that it is going to work out. I am going to know the answer to this question. I'm going to know the answer to all these questions. And I'm going to have time. I'm going to have enough time, perfectly enough time. And I'm going to think clearly. Trust me, guys, you have to use the 5 4 3 2 1 method. If you feel like your mind is going a million places, if you feel like it's clouding your judgment, if you feel like you're starting to doubt your answers, if you feel like it may be this, no, it may be this, maybe this, or maybe this, if you feel all those weird, crazy thoughts, if that pops into your head, try the 5 4 3 2 1. Try it. Immediately try. It doesn't even take 1 second, 2 seconds. Doesn't even take 3 seconds. If you can't do all 5 4 3 2 1, at least do like one part of it. At least just name a few things around you. Immediately try thinking of what exactly the answer is. Okay, remember carefully, there is no point getting anxious or getting scared if you have not done what you are supposed to do. You can basically lose it. Okay, but losing it and losing your mind is not going to help you if you have not done your part. So I'm going to tell you honestly, because I am a teacher myself, you cannot come crying after the exam if you actually genuinely didn't study, if you genuinely didn't put the effort, if you genuinely didn't do what I told you to do, if you genuinely didn't do what you're supposed to do. Trust me, there's no point in feeling those things after the exam at all. You know what you need to do your part, study smart, take practice as much as you should, get enough sleep, required amount of sleep before the paper. Otherwise, you're going to forget everything that's said to you and everything that you have ever studied. Get enough sleep is so important. Trust me, sleep is important. And go confidently, walk in confidently, breathe. Always try to mindfully breathe before the exam. Feel yourself breathing and sit for that paper. How many hours of sleep? I'm going to tell you to get at least 6 hours of sleep. Do not sleep too much. You are going to still forget. Do not sleep too less. Same impact, same effect. Don't do that. I'm going to realistically say at least 5 to 6 hours of sleep. 10 hours is way too much, Ahmed. Are you sure you have an exam in 23 days? Or you're sitting next year? And lastly, I want you to remember before I wrap up, one examination does not define how intelligent you are, and it does not define your potential, neither does it define your worth. So what I want you to remember is this exam is extremely important, but do not attach it to your worth. Who you are is not defined by this exam. What you can do is what is defined by this exam. Okay? So remember carefully, I want you to know one small thing before I end this session, just a small note before I wrap up. No amount of stress, no amount of anxiety, no amount of nervousness, no amount of jitters, no amount of anything will change the situation that is supposed to happen. By you feeling stressed and anxious and nervous and all those crazy big emotions just before the exam, basically you're making yourself forget. So what I did today is I compiled a few slides. I didn't want to put too much of text, too much of theory. I didn't want to talk about too much of psychology here. I just wanted to tell you that it is directly related to how much you can remember. So I wanted to give you something from me which is the 5 4 3 2 1 method. It is useful, it is proven to be useful, and it is proven to work. It is something that is used when someone has an anxiety attack or someone has a panic attack. That is the method that a lot of professionals use. So, what I want you to remember very carefully is no amount of stress and no amount of anxiety will ever change the situation that is yet to happen. I hope that helped. I want you to remember that. Remember that very carefully. Nothing you ever break your head thinking is going to change the exam paper the next day. The questions aren't going to change. The date is not going to change. The time is not going to change. The duration of the exam is also not going to change. Nothing is going to change. So, the only thing that you can do from your side before you go sit there is control what you actually can control, which is you, your work, your effort, your practice, revision, your notes, going and asking sir all sorts of crazy questions, getting them cleared, getting your doubts cleared. All of those things are what you can control. Basically, the effort that you put in before your exam. So, what I am telling you as another teacher as well, focus on your strengths, focus on what you are good at doing, focus on how you do it, the how. How am I going to write this question? How am I going to do this question? How am I going to answer this question? Focus on that. Because you overthinking about how you're going to feel before the exam or what you're going to do even before sitting in that chair is going to basically make you forget everything. So always remember that. I hope this helped you, and I am so happy that I was able to do this for you. And if there's any questions that you also want to know, there are several questions. Okay. Okay. I lose my concentration when watching recordings. What should I do about it? Okay. Definitely a recording is not going to be like a Netflix show. So it is tough. I understand it is. But you will have to either take breaks in the middle, stick to 40 minutes, 40 minutes, break, 40 minutes, and then a break. Because I don't know about this, your generation, but research has proven that a person can only have the longest attention span is 40 minutes, which is why in schools, one subject period is 40 minutes. But with TikTok, I think it's 7 seconds now or 5 seconds, an attention span of a Gen Z. So I don't know. So what I would say is the best thing is do it in chunks and take a very short break, not a 40-minute break, a very short break. Time your break. Okay, consider it like a tiny reward. Okay. I see some thank yous. You're very welcome. I'm very happy I was able to do this for you. Why is it so hard to study for long? Remember, the number of hours of you studying doesn't mean that you studied. Okay. You can be seated there and scrolling on TikTok or messaging some friend. We don't know what you're doing for 6 hours seated on the table with a book open. So remember carefully, sitting for a long amount of time, a long duration, and studying doesn't necessarily mean that you have studied. The amount of content that can go in your head in the shortest span of time is the smartest way to study. Okay, so you all should have done this by now, but because it's kind of in the latter stage of this exam, try to identify your method of studying. Do you study by reading? Do you study by writing? Do you study by drawing mind maps? Do you study by watching videos? How do you study? Identify your method of study because everyone has their own way of studying. Everyone's not going to stick to one method, and no two people can study the same way. And group studies doesn't really work. I'm telling you guys, don't get together and try to do group studies. That is a scam. That never works. Miss, can you show me the slides to take screenshot? I will send you the slides to, you will get these slides through Sir Shukri. Is anxiety and exam fear the same thing? Not in the sense of a panic attack, but like doing well in classes and revision, but not performing well in exams. Yes, this is real. This does exist. Doing well in classes and not performing well in exams is exam anxiety because you feel like you're being judged and you're going to be seated doing this exam, which means your marks will be used against you. So yes, that is a real thing and it does happen and there is ways to cope with that. There are different ways. 25 minutes with active recall, yes. I feel scared that I might have to go to the bathroom once I'm doing my paper and it's breaking me out. What do I do? Please help. Go to the bathroom before you do the exam, which will be safer for everyone in the exam hall as well. Uh, okay, why do I get blanked in my mind when reading essay questions? This is very normal. You probably get blanked in your mind because you are nervous to answer the question. So what you should be doing is take a few minutes, breathe, read the question again, try to remember points that you can use in the essay. Take a pencil, go on jotting down those points in the question paper itself. Just go on putting the points. Just go on writing those points in your head. It doesn't have to be paragraphs, just points. Just keep writing a list of points in your head that could be used in your essay, in your answer script. So what you do is write that first. If you feel like it's wrong, cut it off, write another one, and then you convert it into an essay. For sure, I'll forget tomorrow itself what you said. Okay, that is a you problem. Ma'am, I want to ask if we had work throughout these few weeks, will I be able to get good grades? Please help me out. There is still hope. I will never say there is no hope. There is still hope. You still have an opportunity. If you put your heart and soul and start today, I'm pretty sure you definitely you can. There's no impossibility that you can't. There is always a way. Every time I sit for an exam, my stomach feels upset and it won't go away until I hand over the paper. So it's full on battle the whole time when I try to recall the answers. So your stomach, you having that pit in your stomach and feeling that way is actually your body reacting to the stress. That's how our body physically reacts to what we're feeling emotionally. So that is a very normal feeling. You are going to definitely feel that way. It's your body trying to tell you that this is a big thing and it's a big event and it's a huge thing that is going to determine a lot of other things. So it is completely normal. What I would recommend you trying is that 5 4 3 2 1 method at that point. How can I control my emotions when it is taking over me every single time? You will have to be a little bit more specific there. What do you mean by taking over me every single time? Is there any way to cover the lessons up? Because I have a bunch to be covered. I'm sure Sir Shukri can do that and help you with that. And I'm sure he can definitely help you cover the lessons that you need to cover. And you still have time. These slides will be sent over to you guys. You will be able to have these with you. And I'm really happy that you guys liked these slides. Did spend a lot of time making them. Thank you for the valuable techniques to tackle and for speaking out the reality. You're welcome. I'm very happy that I was able to do this. I'm honored to be able to do this for you guys. And I'm so happy that this number joined for an online session because that's very rare to see an online session having this amount of people. So I wish you all the very best I wish you all the absolute best. I want you to try this and let Sir know if it worked. Let Sir know if it helped you. And at that moment, I want you to remember no amount of stress and anxiety will change the situation that is going to happen anyway. Remember that. I hope you remember me saying that to you. I really hope all of you do your best and all of you get the best results for this exam. I think we can conclude now. I think I will hand it over to Yahya from here.
Yeah. So we've come to the end of today's insightful session. And on behalf of StartX, I'd like to sincerely thank Ms. Hafsa Riza for sharing her valuable knowledge and insights with all of us today. And to all the participants who joined today's session, especially the 2026 A-level students, we hope today's session benefited you and reminded you that exam success isn't just only about preparation academically. It is also about having the right mindset and mentality. And I want to thank all of you for being present at today's session. And I wish each and every one of you the very best, especially the 2026 A-level students, for dedicating your valuable time to attend this session. And all the very best for your exams. Stay confident, trust your preparation, give it your best, and most importantly, believe in yourself. Thank you all for joining. Have a wonderful night and stay tuned for more exciting events from StartX. Till then, all the very best with everything. This is Yahya Fauzan, your host for today's session, signing off. Thank you.